Okay, today we're talking about interpreting linear inequalities, which means we have an inequality, that thing that we used to call the crocodile mouth. Obviously, we can start calling it just an inequality. And we're going to be interpreting that, meaning we will have multiple ways of explaining an inequality or representing it on a number line, or maybe translating it into something using words in a problem. So let's see, for example, here, starting with representing inequalities on a number line. We already know that we've got the following kinds of inequalities. We've got greater than, this is how we read it. I'm going to write them down here, the translations on the right. If you have a little line underneath, it's greater than or equal to. So that's how we read this, or equal to. If it's the other way around, then if it doesn't have a line underneath, we just say it's less than. And if it has a line underneath, we will say that it is less than or equal to. So now, if we do remember all of this stuff, we'll be applying this in various cases. First case, we have x is greater than or equal to 4. How do we represent that on a number line? Well, we draw our number line, so this represents all the numbers in the world, so all the real numbers. We'll put a little x here to show that. And basically, what do? It's x greater than or equal to 4, so we put a solid line, a solid circle there. So let me just say, really, what we've got here is we need to remember that when it's greater than, it's just a hollow circle. When it's greater than or equal to, it's a solid circle. When it's less than, it's a hollow circle. And when it's less than or equal to, it's a solid circle. So basically, if you have the equal to as well, you have a solid line, a solid circle. If you don't have the line underneath, it's just a hollow circle, empty circle. So in this case, it's x is greater than or equal to 4. So we put a little solid circle above the 4, and now this inequality is pointing to the right. So we can remember this trick. We will need to draw an arrow pointing to the right. This little arrow shows it points in the same direction as the inequality up there, so keep that in mind. So basically, what is this inequality giving us? It's giving us a picture of all the possible solutions, so all numbers which are greater than or equal to 4. Now, if you have x is less than 5, you need a hollow circle because it's less than, it doesn't have a little line underneath. And then you want the arrow to be pointing to the left, same as the inequality here, which says basically we've got all possible solutions. We start from 5, but we don't include the 5. And we have everything going to the left of 5. That's pretty much it with a basic inequality. Now, we might get a sandwich inequality. Don't get your hopes up. That's not food. It's an inequality, unfortunately. So this first one here, 1 is less than or equal to x, less than 5. Basically, going back to a hollow and solid circle, this has a little line underneath, so it's going to be a solid circle. And this one is not or equal to, so we will have a hollow circle. Now, because it's strictly between 1 and 5, we don't really have an arrow here. All we have is a line segment starting at 1, ending at 5. And at 1, we'll have a solid circle. At 5, we'll have a hollow circle. That's pretty much how you represent this inequality on a number line. Now, the next one is a bit different because you have two inequalities which are kind of not connected, or they're connected with this word or. Now, what does this mean? This means that these are two separate regions. So the first one is the region x less than 0, which means we'll have a hollow circle and the arrow will be pointing to the left of 0. So 0 is not included. We have a hollow circle, and then we need an arrow pointing to the left, which is the same direction as the inequality. So this says all the numbers less than 0, not including 0, are included in this region. And then finally, x is greater than or equal to 4. Firstly, that includes the 4, so we need to put a solid circle there, and that's why we put the solid circle where the 4 is. And then greater than or equal to means the arrow is going to be pointing in the same direction as the inequality, so it's going to be pointing to the right. And basically, that's what they're saying here. They're saying less than 0 or greater than or equal to 4, and that whole thing comes into one big representation together. I'm going to stop recording here, and I'm going to give you some time to practice and ask me any questions if you have them.